Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Ndano, and welcome to this week's episode of the Skin Therapy Show. On this show, we are going to start with an acclaimed celebrity hairstylist who will clue us in on how taking care of hair will make our skin feel like milk. With over 40 years of experience in her field, she has worked with the big names in Hollywood, including Naomi Campbell. I'm talking about Venus and Serena Williams. I'm talking about Ludacris. Big names, Shaz. Yes, and she's also the brand ambassador for a multinational hair company and hails from Trinidad. Please allow me to welcome the gorgeous, the multi-talented, ever so beautiful and very humble Ms. Sharon Brown, aka Ms. Shaz. Welcome to the show. Hi.
Asante Asana.
Oh, karibu. Yeah.
I've been here long enough.
Ms. Shaz, I must say that I am very much honored that you took time off your busy schedule to be here with us. Tell us a brief history about your career and yourself.
Okay, I've been in the industry all my life, professionally for the past 41 years, almost 42 years already.
Wow.
My focus over the past 30 years has been hair loss in women of color. And I'm on a global mission to turn glam green and take the pain out of beauty one strand at a time. I'm an advocate for other salon professionals because over the years, a lot of us have died from all types of illnesses, and we didn't know it was related to what we were using in the salon. So that my awareness has been expanded, you know, and it has awakened the consciousness in me. So I have really been focusing the last few years, I should say the last 5 years, in educating salon professionals in how to better take care of themselves and their clients.
Wow. So how did you get to Hollywood? I mean, it's such a competitive industry.
It is a competitive industry, but competition is good.
Yeah.
Competition is healthy. If you're raising hell and you don't have anybody to raise hell with, how you know if you're raising hell? You know?
Yeah.
So you always need someone, you know, over your shoulder, you know, to keep you on point. I know a lot of people are scared of competition, but I like the competition. That's why I left my country and moved to the United States, because I was at the top of the game in Trinidad. I didn't really have anybody that was my rival. So I left and I went to Florida for challenge. That's exactly what I said I was going for challenge. And it's been a challenging 29 years.
So how does hair relate to skin?
Hair relates to skin in a very big way. First of all, your scalp is your skin.
Yes.
Okay? A lot of people fail to realize that. Your scalp is an extension of your forehead. The skin is the largest organ on the body, and it releases a lot of toxins. And I can't understand for the life of me why a lot of women ignore shampooing their hair. It's like that personal hygiene is not at the top of the list. There's a myth that says that if our hair is dirty, it's going to grow better, and that's nonsense. Your hair needs a healthy environment to grow. A lot of the times that women have problems with their skin, it might be related to what's going on in their scalp. And because their hair is dirty, it's rubbing against their skin, and then they have all these issues.
So let's talk about hair products.
Yes.
And how they affect our scalp, which is very important because I know most of the people do not know what exactly to use on their hair, which in turn affects our scalp, you know. We have, I'm sure you've come across cases where someone has a lot of dandruffs or mold growing on the weaves that we are wearing. Please, how can we identify the kind of products that we're going to use on our hair, the good products for our hair?
It is so important. That's a question that I've been asked so many times since I've been in Kenya, and I'm not really familiar with what's being sold. I mean, a lot of the products that I see that are popular are really over-the-counter products in the United States. They're not professional products.
Oh, wow.
But yet here, they're professional products. What I also notice is that in my travels around the world, is that the third world countries have become the toxic waste dumps for these cosmetic manufacturers. Products that are banned in first world countries, they dump it in the third world countries because people are not aware. Okay, and they're killing people. It is unfortunate that the place where women go to become beautified is the same place they're going to die. And that I want to become the voice of that. My global mission is to change that, to educate the people because they don't know. These chemical relaxers are very harsh. And the biggest lie that they've told the consumers is that it's a no lie. You know, they came up with another line of relaxers and they called it no lie. That's the biggest lie. Because anything that contains a hydroxide is a lie, whether it be calcium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, lithium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, they're all lies. And they never stop working. So the fact that hairdressers are going to overlook basing the scalp to protect the skin from these harsh chemicals is, you know, beyond my thought. Like, what are you thinking about? I have told people, if you see your hairdresser putting on some gloves and she's not protecting your scalp, you need to get up and leave, okay? Because again, your scalp is your skin.
Actually, most of them do that a lot.
And they just skip that step.
Yeah.
And you're causing great harm. It never stops working. Hydroxide never stops working. So even after they've rinsed it and maybe neutralized it, it's entering your scalp, it's entering the pores, it's going to eventually end up in your bloodstream. And years from now, you're going to be having some type of illness that you did not realize was related to that situation. Now, a few years ago, when because I retired for 2.5 years and came out of retirement, and I noticed like 100% of the women that I saw had hair and or scalp issues. 100% of the new clients. They had hair and or scalp issues. Like you said, they had the dandruff, they had dry scalp, they had itching. Some of them had scar tissue on their scalp, you know, a lot of hair breakage. I also noticed with the young girls, a lot of them were developed. Big breasts, big hips, big derriere. And I'm only noticing that on the melanin dominant people. And because I'm a multiculturalist hairstylist, I realized that there was a difference in what I was seeing in my non-black clients to what I was seeing in my black clients. It was just my thought, like my experience. I says, you know what? I think the relaxer has a lot to do with it. I'm hearing my black woman clients talking about fibroid tumors, polycystic ovaries, polycystic breasts, migraine headache.
Shaz, you may just have to hold it right there because I have a question coming up about the diseases that people get out of these products that we are using. It is now time to pay our bills. Don't go so far. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the Skin Therapy Show. It is indeed an honor to honor a celebrity hairstylist, but what is even more important is using these tips in a day-to-day hair care. And that's why today we'll be speaking to a Kenyan hair guru who will take us through the steps as to how to ensure that your hair remains healthy and always ravishing, to avoid hair breakages and all the other things related to bad hair care. Take a look. People question, if you're wearing gloves, what does that mean about the safety of what you're applying on someone else's scalp? What do you have to say about that, Kim?
Okay, basically, Roshan, what I have to say, when we are dealing with chemicals, it's very important to protect your client and to protect yourself. For example, relaxers change the pH of your of the skin from its normal 4.5 to 5.5 to a higher pH. So basically, for me, as a stylist, I have to protect myself. Again, the relaxers have ingredients which can cause cancer with time if we overuse. And for example, if a day I do a retouch, I do retouches like 10 retouches a day, and I'm not protecting myself. That means in a higher, I can get cancer easily.
High risk.
Yes, there's high risk. Then when it comes to client, we also protect the client. There's what we call base creams. Before you do a relaxer, you have to base the client's scalp nicely. Most of the products, they come with a base cream. What happens after you apply the base cream, your body temperature melts that base cream and it forms a protective layer on your scalp, so that whereby the relaxer cannot irritate your scalp.
But can
can we see you do the basing?
Yes.
And the other thing, as you do the basing, does powder suffice as base? Because that's what we've seen also in one or two places here and there that
Yes.
people use.
When it comes to powder, powder is not professional at all. And I'm telling the audience there, if your stylist uses powder, that's a shortcut, and you're not supposed to go to that stylist. It's not allowed. We don't use powders. That's so unprofessional.
So do you base only on particular areas or everywhere on the scalp?
You base everywhere on the scalp. It's very important, and the hairline. So you make sure all the base, the scalp is covered. It's very important.
And any particular oils?
Most of the products, they come with their base cream. Yes, but people do shortcuts. You can apply any baby oil, you can apply air food, but I always say use what the product company has offered you to use.
There's something else that our guest has raised today, including companies that will tell you our products are no-lie relaxers, but they're actually lying about the no-lie relaxers.
Yes.
So how do you have the guarantee that this product I'm using is what it says it is?
Okay, one thing I usually say, let your stylist help you buy the product. We as stylists, we know much better. We know a difference between a lie and no-lie relaxers. We also know difference between, because there are so many different types of relaxers. We have guanidine relaxers, we have no-lie relaxers, we have relaxers which are sodium-based. So it's very, very important for you to consult your stylist when going to buy relaxers. Yes.
I'm very much a person of how can I get to do this at home, because it guarantees me that all the products that I'm using are safe. Is there a way possibly that you could do relaxing with natural products?
Okay, mostly you cannot. You see, when we say relaxing is pre-softening your hair from your natural state to a more straighter form. Yeah. So what goes on, there is what we call disulfide bonds. We break the disulfide bonds in your hair. So basically, the companies try to sell their product and they lie to the audience, to their clients. They tell them, you can do a relaxer at home. Actually, most of the products, the products like guanidine relaxers, they are mild. If you have to, you can do them at home, but there's a higher chance of risk of you either burning your scalp, over processing the hair, under processing the hair. So those are more of the risk.
So maybe just before I let you do what you do best,
yes,
how often should you relax your hair a year to ensure that it's safe and that not later on when you're 50, 60, you're not suffering from the effects of what you did when you were 18, 19, all the way through?
It depends on the period of how your hair grows. There are people who, but the professional way, you are supposed to do a retouch after 8 weeks to 10 weeks. More than that, we call it stretching. There are people who like to stretch, they maybe because of climate or whatever. Yeah.
All right, so we'll let you do what you do best, get to see her before and after. Okay. And of course, I'm expecting that probably when we get to see her later, her hair looks healthier.
Sure.
Because I believe you have used quality products and the right products.
Definitely.
And you definitely also have to ensure your stylist does the same. Remember, if they use powder as a base, that's a no-no. You'd rather be safe than sorry. So take note and keep watching the show. This is the Skin Therapy Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Skin Therapy Show. I'm your host, Sarah Ndanu. Just before the break, Shaz, you were talking about the diseases that are caused by some of these products. Would you please expound on that?
Yes, definitely. As I said before, I noticed that my melanin dominant clients were talking about the same things. The conversation was the same. They were having migraine headaches, polycystic ovaries, polycystic breasts, fibroid tumors, heavy bleeding during their menstrual cycles.
Yeah.
The young girls, they were developing so quickly. Lots of the girls, that I thought was 15 were like 9 years old. And you speak to the mom, and she was having a menstrual cycle since she was 7 or 8 years old. Well, about 3 years ago, Boston University just released a study they were conducting for 12 years. They studied 23,000 black women between the ages of puberty to premenopausal. And they came to the conclusion that there's a direct relationship between fibroid tumors and relaxers, and also menage and relaxers. Menage is accelerated puberty in our young girls. Okay, because I had people tell me, well, it's the hormones in the food. Well, the black boys are eating the same food. The Hispanic and the white kids are eating the same unhappy meal from that same unhealthy place, and they weren't having that problem. But when I spoke to the parents of these girls, they were applying relaxers to their hairs, the little kitty kits that they bought from the store, applying it to their little daughter's hair from the time she was 3 years old. All right. Now, the instructions might say 12 minutes, 13, 14 minutes. Means that it has to be on and off their head in 12 or 13 or 14 minutes. But what they did was put it on their child's hair, put them in front of the television to watch some cartoon, and says, tell mommy when it's burning. Well, it never burns, because now they have had some type of calcium hydroxide, something that is not going to cause as much sensitization. What happens to that child is by the time she's 14 years old, the skin on her scalp has scarred. She's lost 4 headfuls of hair and is now inclined to wear a wig, a weave, or a lace front for the rest of her life.
Wow.
That is how serious it is. You find the girls are breaking out around their hairline, on their foreheads, their skin, they're breaking out. They're breaking out on their neck, their shoulders. And you find that a lot too with women who are wearing hair extensions. Okay?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times the hair extensions are processed with formaldehyde, hydrochloric acid, and chlorine bleach. And then they spray a silicone coating on it, put it in a package, it looks really nice and pretty, to present to the retail market. Even though the package on all of the products that I have read, each package says shampoo and condition before using. And it's not being done. Even when you go to a salon professional, they do not shampoo and condition that hair. They're putting harsh chemicals onto their client's skin and onto their scalp. Hence, the patting. See a lot of women patting and itching. Okay. Then, like I said, they break out on their forehead. They have this rash or this acne all around their cheek, their backs, their shoulders. Their husband is sick. Their kids are sick, and they don't realize now because you're laying on the bed next to your husband or your loved one, he's inhaling the chemicals. And now you have a whole sick family. And if you're going to be doing this constantly, because a lot of the times, these women put in these hair extensions, and they don't want to shampoo it. Why? Because they're afraid it's going to mat. Because every time they shampoo, that silicone coating comes off, and then the hair mats. So they're scared to do that. But they need to really get rid of that silicone coating because it's toxic. It's very toxic. The people who are manufacturing these products, they don't have any interest in us and our health. The only interest they have in us is commerce, is economics. The Koreans, every year they get a census from the United States government as to how many black females are born every year. And they do a financial projection 14 years out, because they know by the time she's 14 years old, she's going to be wearing a wig, a lace front, or a weave. And it's a big industry. The hair industry is 10 to 15 billion US dollars. That's just in the United States. 10 to 15 billion dollars a year. All right? And 89% of that money comes from black women. Yet only 1% of the industry is owned by black people.
Back again to the products. How am I going to identify the right product to use for my hair that is not going to have any effect on my skin?
Okay, first off, you need to start using products that are probably more eco-organic. And there's a difference between natural and eco-organic. Like people think, oh, well, I'm using a natural product. But then when I look at the natural product and I look at the ingredients, they have stuff like mineral oil and petrolatum, That's not good for our skin. It's not good for our scalp. Okay? So we need to use things that have oils that are more penetrable, probably like vegetable and fruit oils, you know, stuff that has maybe avocado oils, olive oils, and all of that stuff. Not because the brand says olive oil, I mean that's what it is. Because you might start reading the ingredients and realize that the olive oil is probably the second to last ingredient on there. You know, they let them get away with so much. The regulation is so lax in what people are being fooled with, you know, what is presented to them, and the consumer doesn't know any better. If they say that this thing is going to do a miracle, they believe it's going to do a miracle. And that's not right. So we need to focus or try to get products, like I said, that are more pure, doesn't have all of these other toxins in there. Anything that's more natural is going to be, more organic, I should say, is going to be much better for your hair and for your skin.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add in regards to the same topic?
Yes, in regards to the same topic, I will highly recommend that people use the Natural Axa brand. Because Natural Axa, we have an eco-organic line, and we also have a vegan line. Okay? And because, again, of my mission to turn glam green and take the pain out of beauty, one strand at a time, that was my motivation behind developing that product. I needed to get a product that was going to be great for people's hair, and it was going to be for their skin. Okay? The same product that I would use on someone's hair as an alternative to chemical relaxer, that same product can be used on the scalp as a scalp dressing. It can be used as a deep conditioner, as an instant conditioner, as a moisturizer for your skin. It can be used as a lip balm. You can use it on your face. And if you can use something on your lips and it doesn't affect you, because that's the softest part of your body and the most sensitive part. So if you can apply it to your lips and you don't have a reaction, then you know that that product is safe.
There you have it from the most talented Ms. Sharon Brown. Thank you so much for gracing us today. We're really honored. And I'm sure you're on social media. So many people like to ask you questions in regards to the same. Maybe you can just look at the camera and just let us know where we can reach you.
Yes, you can. You can reach me at Shaz Unlimited on Facebook. Shaz Unlimited, that's spelled SHAZZ-UNLIMITED. I'm also on Instagram at Ms. Shaz, MSSHAZZ. And I'm on Twitter as well at ShazX, SHAZZX. And you can also visit my website, which is www.chemfree.com. And Chemfree is spelled KHEMPHREE.com.
Right, there it is. Are you going to come back in Kenya? Because we'd love to have you back on the show.
Well, as long as you invite me back here, I will be back. Because
Okay.
I love Kenya.
Thank
Kenya
you.
reminds me so much of my country.
Trinidad.
It does. It does a lot,
Okay.
yes.
So we look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much.
For this week's Skin Therapy Show, please do not forget to leave us your questions, suggestions, or concerns. Also get in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be sure to join us next week, same place, same time. Have a good night.